All right, Konnan, did you watch Dynamite?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Joe, what was the number?
I'm a schmuck. Hang on a second.
I already looked.
Did you?
Yeah, what did you, Konnan, give it okay, last week was 8, what was last week?
883 or something like that.
Okay, and the week before that was 1,000,003, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think this week was? Up or down?
Up to like 975. I didn't look either, so.
Okay, what would you say, Konnan?
I was thinking that because they came up with Strong Revolution and all the good, that they went up 920.
Okay, they went down.
Oh,
wow.
858.
858.
Oh, no, sorry. That was up because last week was 833. Not
833. Okay.
Yeah. So they went up, but it's still low.
Yeah, up to, they're still low. Still under 900, which is kind of weird because I thought but I'm honestly, it's like they didn't really come off the show with any heat from the pay-per-view. It's like they just kind of like picked up where they, like the night, right. It's like, so it wasn't like you could have piggybacked off some stuff off the last show, off the pay-per-view and start off hot. Like, hey, what happened?
Right. Everybody's talking good about your show. And then we talked with Billy, because that was the same thing I was thinking. MJF should have started off the show. I told you so. This is the guy you say is the best. Wait till you see the video you're about to see about him. I broke him down. He's going home.
Yeah.
Him, you guys. And you know what I'm saying? Like he did in that scrum where he was telling everybody off.
Right, but instead we open up with Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal's got a lot of TV time these days, but he's a good worker. So I just had an idea, and it's good for a kazoo, I'm sure. What if, because they call the Wrestler of the Year award in the Observer Awards the Bryan Danielson Award, right? Mm-hmm. So what if when MJF does come out later to talk about Bryan, he demands that Meltzer change the name to the MJF Award for Wrestler of the Year? What about that? Great.
For that fan base.
I like that.
For that fan base, I'm saying.
Yes. So Orange Cassidy, who is the world's greatest wrestler, he beats everybody. He beat Jay Lethal here, and after the match, Lethal grabbed the Golden Globe and wanted to go after Cassidy, but the referee stopped him. Jarrett came in the ring and gave him the stroke and slammed the guitar over his bad knee, and then Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta ran away, and then they announced that Jeff Jarrett would face...
I can't wait for this.
Face him next week, so that's how they started the show. What do you think of this?
Well...
14 minutes, by the way.
Too long. Mm-hmm. Very good match. I'm still waiting. They just have too many titles. The ROH title, the Pure title, the World.
They mean nothing. Right.
That's the point. I'm hoping they come out with a Mississippi River title because
remember this.
Texarkana.
No. Remember this title from the end from the NWA or the WCW thing. It was called the Western States Heritage Championship. Remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah,
that's what these titles are all like. Like the Western States,
has it.
Yeah, it's like the Western States Heritage Championship, and like it's got a prominent spot on the show, like every week. So I don't know.
Right, but I think the Mississippi River title would actually be bigger because I think it stretches more than the Atlantic because the Atlantic, but I'm not mistaken. From my Navy days.
They changed it to all international title.
All international, right. But the Atlantic is like...
Oh, I can't wait for that.
That's the East Coast. What about the Pacific?
Yeah.
So no Japanese wrestlers are allowed to come over across the...
Right.
Like, you're not allowed to come from across the Pacific to fight for the title. You have to come from Europe across the Atlantic.
I still like my Mississippi River because it starts all the way in Minnesota and comes all the way down to New Orleans.
Right.
So that anyway, I thought this was a well put together match by both. They both always delivered. This was no exception. Very logical match because Lethal was working the injured knee of Orange Cassidy, but it was like his own injury. Like he had was selling a shoulder injury, and he was able to take like advantage of that. I thought when Jeff came in and he picked up the guitar and he was holding it, I thought, as usual, Babyface would run in and we wouldn't get any heat. But no, he hit him in the knees, which I liked because, they got some heat there and the people don't like him. You know what I was thinking of? If you were to get Jeff Jarrett, who's very unlikable, and daddy ass Billy Gunn, who could be very unlikable very quick, and you put them as a tag team and kind of like back in my day, time of bitter old veterans that the young guys don't like. Hey, I'm going to give you some advice. Well,
they're better workers than like 90% of the guys.
That's for sure.
Because the way they work, they both throw good punches and they got charisma and so.
I think they would. I would think they would get a lot of heat. Yeah,
two of the best drop kicks ever.
Okay, so they showed footage. Wardlow's car got broken into for a shoot, and all his gear was stolen in the belt. Okay, so they showed footage of that. So they interviewed Powerhouse Hobbs and said he wouldn't have his gear stolen in these neck of the woods. So they cut a promo. Then Ricky Starks comes out for a promo, and he spoke about beating Jericho. And then the Bullet Faction Club thing played, and then Juice Robinson entered the ring and punched him.
and he put Starks down with the DDT and then stood over him while the Billet Club music played. That was it. And it's like, oh my God, it's Juice Robinson. So Tony Storm's husband is attacked Ricky Starks. So
that's her husband?
I think it's her boyfriend or something.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Okay, what do you think of this, Glenn?
Just, I mean, like if this is the guy didn't say anything, the announcers had to try to put him over, and the announcers don't really put anybody over that well because they were. This was this lame, and it's like a why. I want to, like I said, this is not. This is just this looks like every angle they have, a guy attacks somebody, you know. So
okay, so I'm along the same lines. I thought Starks didn't really say anything, bro. When he's on the mic, he should be hitting home runs like Christian and MJF do. Right. Take advantage of that, bro. You can talk, and you're not. You've whiffed a couple times when they've given you that platform. Then Juice Robinson attacks him, who's a good worker, but they got a million good workers there, bro. He's kind of lame. People were not into this. It's not like he's featured around. Very random. Juice, I mean. This feels like a dissension instead of and he should be ascending, you know, and he needs to be wrestling names right now. People that they got a lot of names there.
Yeah, he's being elevated.
Right. So how's he being elevated here? And bro, the problem is they try to give everybody a rub and they try to, well, maybe we can give this guy a rub with Ricky Starks. Bro, Starks isn't that over yet, you know? And so you got to put, you know, you can only push so many people at the same time. You've got to, you know, like, you got to get 5 guys, push them for a while, then get another 5 guys, not try to push, 20 at the same time. But all right.
So Wardlow was interviewed by Tony Schiavone in the backstage and said he had to borrow some clothes and might as well just make this a falls count anywhere. So, which is actually not a bad idea based on all his shit getting stolen.
Right.
All right. So Ruby Soho became a fan of mine in one interview. Renee Paquette stands in the ring with Ruby Soho, made her entrance.
You became a fan of hers, you mean?
I thought this was a really good like I would not mind listening to her have another promo next week. She asked Soho why she joined Saraya and Tony Storm, and Soho said the fans created this monster. She recalled losing to Britt Baker, so the people were thrilled. She recalled beating Chris Statlander in the Owen Hart Cup tournament and got booed out of the building. And Soho said that when she was pinned by her favorite homegrown talent, Jamie Hayter Revolution, she knew she would never be appreciated. Soho said Storm was appreciated to the point that the company wouldn't call her an actual champion. Soho said the fans begged Saraya to come out of retirement, and the neck-bearded trolls turned on her. Soho said you can't build on a broken foundation, you can only start new. And she said with the broken foundations in the back is the entitled women who think they deserve the win. And Soho called for homegrown opponent to come to the ring, and the Sky Blue came out, and she beat up Sky Blue and pinned her. So after the match, Saraya and Storm headed the ring with spray paint, and they sprayed the L on Blue. And then Willow Nightingale came out dressed in cheap jeans and it looked like a slob. And she tried to talk to Soho while Saraya and Storm left the ring, and then they walked around the side of the stage and then attacked her from behind and made her look stupid, and they spray painted both of them. What did you think of this whole segment?
Bro, I thought Soho's promo was very good, believable. I liked how she went after the fans, calling him the bottom beating neckbeards. Yeah. She went off on them, which they hated because, they don't like to be criticized. She dominated this young girl who looks very nice but is very green, and I'd put her on dark and elevation, let her get her reps in until she's ready. The spray can thing is mega JoJo Starbucks lame. I think turning Soho heel was great for her, and as it's been for Tony. I think sometimes that's what wrestlers need because they're mad that they're not getting over his baby faces. They're like, if they turn me heel, I'm really going to go off. You know what I'm saying? Because the fans kind of turned on Tony when she was a face, remember?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. And the last thing I wanted to say is I love and I don't know if you noticed this, Disco. Soho hit this girl with an enziguri, and instead of bumping forward, she took a flat back bump. I was like, that doesn't even make sense. How could you bump like that off of that?
Yeah, very green. So they had a promo.
She's a big favorite in the K100 Discord, Sky Blue.
Said MJF said next week after his match, tape from after the match said next week is his birthday, but he wouldn't have a regular birthday. He would have a rebar mitzvah, so that could be very entertaining. So Tony Schiavone stood
great in the ring intensity by this guy, man.
Yeah. Tony Schiavone stood in the ring with FTR, and basically they cut a babyface promo. But
can I just say this? Think about it. This guy just beat Bryan Danielson, one of their best wrestlers, sent him into retirement in a 1-hour Iron Man match, retained his belt, and this is all we saw of him on the show.
So next is the Dax and all them. Basically, this was just a basic babyface promo, and they're going to time for retribution. They want to hit the guns where it hurt by taking the AEW tag team titles. Good promo. The fans like these guys a lot. So this is like they've forgotten that they've lost a lot of matches, so they're behind them.
Yeah.
You got any comment on this?
Yeah, this was good, and people were really hot for them.
Yeah. So next, Jade Cargill, generic promo. Going to be one of you whack ass Canadians step up and get stepped on next week. Layla Gray looked pretty hot in this too, by the way. They look good.
She does look hot, but why she with Jay? Jay don't need her.
I know. So next, the Jericho Appreciation Society in a 6-man against AR Fox and Dante Martin and Darius Martin. Darius Martin needs to get a little bit better shape. It's a little jiggly around the belly and the did you notice that?
Yeah, I was going to say that he gained a lot of weight, bro.
Yeah,
he wasn't like that before.
He needs to lose some weight.
And it isn't good weight.
He's not hurt for a while, wasn't he?
It's like Evil Uno Joe Feeney weight.
He looks like he's got the Joey Janela body before, but Joey Janela started getting in shape. That's what he looks like.
Right.
You know? So after the match, so they win. After the match, they delivered in-ring promo and said it was the 1-year anniversary of the faction forming and said they should be the number 1 contenders for the trios titles. Said they're the sexiest group alive, but then the lights went out when they keep doing the lights out, lights off thing instead of just like where it doesn't really fit, right? So when the lights turned on, the Elite were out there, okay? Oh, hi, Chris, Omega said. Omega said he wanted they've stayed out of each other's lanes the past couple years. But then Don Callis right now and took the mic from Omega and said, everyone knows that the Elite established the trios title. They said that after the match they had a revolution. The Elite are the number 1 contenders. And Callis said he and Jericho have been friends for 33 years, and he feels that Jericho is one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, but unfortunately you're the 2nd greatest wrestler from Winnipeg. Then the House of Black interrupted on the big screen and said they were both equally deserving to be humiliated, and so they set up a match for next week's 6-man. A 3-way dance for the trios titles.
First of all, I thought that
flip your mic on.
Yeah. This was a solid match. Jericho was doing a lot of comedy, more than usual, with the hugging and all the posing. He was having fun. Yeah. You know, he's a legend. He's having fun. He's getting paid. He does whatever he wants.
That was like the type of stuff he always did with Eddie when they teamed up briefly.
Right. After the match, the House of Black and all that, I thought that it was very funny when I thought Kenny Omega's promo was good, but I thought when Don Callis came out and said, you're the 2nd best wrestler from Winnipeg, but my favorite line was he goes, and if you give me a few weeks to get in shape, you'll be number 3. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Don's the best.
Yeah, that was a good line. So next is they showed they had a thing for Shazam. Like
wait a minute.
Yeah. So
wait. Can I just say this? Have you bought that thing yet, Joe? That sound machine thing or whatever?
Yeah, I'm coming next week.
Okay.
So we'll be starting up.
In the meantime, get it from Yahoo or whatever, or from the YouTube. Here's late breaking news so you can put the music in. Okay. Yeah. Backstage, Khan revealed that the All Atlantic thing is now being called the International. So that's late breaking, real big news.
Big announcement there.
Not bigger than Soho with the 50th Win Cup, but close.
So they show Brian.
So who's in the first match for this international title?
Jarrett and Cassidy.
I can't wait for Jarrett to be international champion. They're going to hate that.
So they showed Bryan Danielson backstage and said he said he was putting himself in front of his family, and he said that more than passing out, that made him more ashamed than anything else. He said it was time for him to go home. So we'll see. And then, like I said,
I thought that was good.
Yeah, but they didn't the announcers didn't even sell it. Like I said, they didn't really sell it.
Right. They didn't make a big deal out of it. The big deal that it should have been, which it was Meltzer was alluding to.
So basically, the next match is Moxley and Claudio against Silver and Reynolds, and they worked heelish. They beat Silver and Reynolds, and after the match, Moxley put Reynolds in a rear naked choke, and Castagnoli stopped the referee from breaking up. And Silver ran in through punching Moxley, but Castagnoli cleared him from the ring. Then Moxley put Reynolds in the Bulldog choke. Then the Evil Uno ran out and attacked Moxley, but then Yuta ran in and chopped his knee. Then Hangman Page ran out and entered the ring, and he checked on the Dark Order members, and Castagnoli tapped him on the back, and Page punched him. But then they put down Page, and then they all put the boots to him, and then Uno returned to help, and then group referees and fans intervened. Basically, the Blackpool Combat, I guess, is turned heel, but all they did was just beat up their opponents here. You know, like it didn't really one. I don't know. This was interesting. So what did you think of this?
I thought that a couple weeks ago, where Moxley destroyed this Evil Uno guy, right? Mm-hmm. And here's the problem, bro. The Dark Order was only over when Brody was with them, and after he passed away, straight up. And he was kind of like the heart and soul of that group, and he was great in the backstage skits. Yeah. Even using my own WCW line, "Feel that's enough." So he got extra credit for that. But anyways, bro, they never win. They're a mid like card comedy act that is entertaining in backstage skits, mostly on BTE. Silver's mega over when he does his comebacks. Reynolds is not over. Like I said, they never win. They're probably guys that give it backstage. They give no problems. Everyone likes them. Good work rates, kind of like Gargano in WWE. But why are you wrestling these guys? It makes no sense to me.
It's going to be the feud now.
Yeah, they don't belong in they don't belong in an angle against the Blackpool Combat Club.
Right, and then
that's just mixing oil and
then,
water. You know
then here's the thing, bro. I'm kind of tired of Paige and Moxley. I thought that was over, and they kind of did that again.
Right.
And I thought to myself, there's no reason for Mox to bleed in this match, and he didn't. Maybe he's listening to the blowback because this time the fans got it right. What was the other thing that I wanted to say about this? Bro, Evo Luno came down with the vest, still looking sloppy. Good punches, bro. That's one thing I will say. Good punches and a good talent, but you're a good talent in a promotion full of very good and great talent. You just kind of can't be good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everybody needs to look the same physically, but unless you're a great worker or a star, you shouldn't look like that. You don't need to look like Brian Cage, but come on, dude. That's just my opinion.
So next is they had a interview backstage where the Acclaim said they're coming back for the AEW Tag Team titles, and Menard and Parker showed up and said they were sports entertainers at heart, and they asked them to join the Jericho Appreciation Society. And then they walked away.
Okay, I don't understand what this was even for. What
they're probably gonna have a match against each other, Rampage, I imagine.
Yeah.
So then we got the main event: Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Falls Count Anywhere. They started in the garage and did some spots on a car where they slammed through the windshield and stuff. They came into the ring. Swanton on a table outside the ring. It's so stupid. The tables are just randomly set up outside the ring. You know, like it's supposed. I don't know. So then they go up on the stage, and Wardlow's going to powerbomb off the stage. But guess what? Guess who?
No. But I think didn't he take the table from under the ring and set it up?
Okay. I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that. Yeah.
I remember him setting it up.
Correct. Okay. So next, QT Marshall shows up. And he hit Wardlow with the chair. Wardlow no-sold it, but the Marshall kicked him in the balls and hit him with more chair shots. And he helped Hobbs to his feet. And then Hobbs and Marshall picked up Wardlow and tossed him off the stage onto the platform. And the referee counted Wardlow out. And so poor Wardlow, who got his stolen out of his car, had a 2-day title reign with the TNT Championship and lost his belt. And I imagine that they put Hobbs over here because I read that he's from Oakland, which is near Sacramento.
Right.
But he won in a heelish fashion.
That's why he said
you
couldn't get away with this in my neck of the woods.
Right.
Bro, the people were still cheering him. You know, people were cheering him last week.
Right.
And everywhere he went.
Not that much of. They did the whole Book of Hobbs thing, which kind of paid him as a babyface.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you turn him face. Just, you don't always give the fans what they want. Here's the thing. I thought they're good punches by both of them, especially for their size, which adds believability. My biggest takeaway is, why are you taking the title off of him so fast? Bro, I like that Hobbs should be champ, because when I was talking to him, I think he told me he's part Puerto Rican. But anyways, I think he should be champ, but you first have to rehabilitate Wardlow. You did a lot of damage to him. You need to rehabilitate him, get him really strong again. Then you can give it to Hobbs. I thought this was, why even give him the title for one day? I like QT. A lot of people I think he's very underrated. He's a good heel, but here's a problem with QT. He reminds me a lot of Ethan Page. He can talk, good size, good in-ring, good heel, but where's Ethan right now? And so let's wait and see. I thought Wardlow's swanton off the top of the ladder was very impressive for his size. I thought Joe was going to come out at the end, not QT. That was kind of random. Right. But I guess they're going to explain it, because this kind of feels like hot-shotting to me.
Right, it was.
Yeah, and I thought, bro, did you see how high they picked up Wardlow in the air? Yeah. And then they just kind of dropped him a 2-foot drop, like clunk, on this, like this thing that didn't even look good. He should have gone all the way through.
Right.
It's like he just I thought that did not look good.
Yeah. The power bomb on the ramp that he gave to Hobbs looked like it hurt more than that.
Right.
Right. So it's like, right. So that's been our AEW review.
Enjoy the rest of the show. Boom.